come to you today from downtown Houston, Texas, where it's the middle game of this weekend series. It's the home team, Houston Astros, against the visiting Texas Rangers, where the roof is closed here inside Minute Maid Park. Well, how things have changed in the West for these two teams and for the division as a whole. We go back to July the 29th. The Astros were in first place by just a game over the Angels. And the Rangers, maybe to some were an afterthought at that point. They were 8 games outside of the Astros. But the Rangers' resurgence has been remarkable. They've won 8 straight in a row against the Astros, including a somewhat recent 4-game sweep in Arlington that featured a blowout win and a walk-off win as well, which gave the Rangers a 4-game cushion, advancing them 4 games in 4 days over the Astros, and they've padded their lead since. As we take a look at the current standings in the American League West, the Rangers suddenly in first place and somewhat comfortably almost a 5-game lead over the Astros. So glad, as always, you can join us for Fox Saturday Baseball. Aaron Goldsmith alongside Tom Verducci. And Tom, if you go back to the end of April, these Texas Rangers, they won only 7 games. They had the worst record in the American League. What has happened to the Texas Rangers?
Well, it's a different team. There's nothing subtle about what they've done. They're about as subtle as a 12-ton steamroller. Not only the hottest team in baseball in September, they've scored the most runs. And no surprise, they're being led by veteran hitters in the middle of the lineup when the games count the most. 2, 3, 4. Shin-Soo Choo, Prince Fielder, Adrian Beltre have been on fire. The task for Colin McHugh, Astros starter today, keep them in check, especially early in the game, because they have been jumping on opponents.
Meanwhile, for A.J. Hinch and his Houston Astros, this was a team that really nobody expected nearly this much from so far this year, especially late in the season. They've been in first place for over 130 days this year, but suddenly things are starting to tighten up a little bit in Houston.
Well, let's be honest here. This is a tight team. They are pressing. They showed it last night on the bases, defensively, and the way they chased outside of the strike zone at the plate. A.J. Hinch thought for the division to be in hand, they needed to take this series. That makes today a must-win in terms of the division, but as he said, a win, more than that, that would be a collective exhale for a team that really needs one.
So a win today for the Texas Rangers would secure a series win. A win for the Astros would set up a chance for an Astros series win with the rubber game tomorrow. It's Colin McHugh, Derek Holden, Fox Saturday Baseball from Minute Maid Park. Coming up next. And that's how he's feeling right about now. It has been a remarkable turnaround for Jeff Bannister's Rangers in his first year in Arlington, Texas. They've won 4 in a row, and we'll take a look at Bannister's starting lineup. It will lead off with that man, Delino DeShields. Who saw this coming from DeShields? 24 steals. He's hitting over 260 and has really been the catalyst at the top of the lineup in recent months for Texas. Shin-Soo Choo maybe playing his best baseball in Arlington. Then it's Prince Fielder and Adrian Beltre. Mitch Moreland having a career season. Rugnan Odor has been exceptional since being recalled from AAA Round Rock. Elvis Andrus. Josh Hamilton. This is a bit of a story. Tom Hamilton is in the lineup for the first time in a long while. Had his knee repaired.
First time since the middle of August in the starting lineup. And how about that in the 8th spot? The second time in his career. The first time as a rookie back with the Reds in 2007.
And we take a look at Colin McHugh, who for a while there early in his career it was Colin McHugh. And now people are getting a better idea as to who this young man actually is.
Well, everybody knows about the cut fastball. It breaks so much, a lot of people will call it a slider. 5 lefties in the lineup against him, but actually he has reverse splits with that cutter on the hands of lefties. Much tougher on lefties than he has been on righties.
Defensively behind McHugh, remember the Astros, they shift all over the place, so what we are about to see as to where guys will line up, well, that might not necessarily be the case once we get into the flow of the game, but it will be Castro behind home plate, Altuve and Correa up the middle. Marisnick covers all kinds of ground in center field. Lowry began the season at shortstop, now at third base with the emergence of Correa and George Springer in right field. And here is Delino DeShields, his last 6 games, 10 hits. And when he gets on base, it seems like more times than not he comes around and scores. And McHugh gets things going with strike 1.
To be exact, that number is 48%, which actually leads the American League. So the job for McHugh begins right here. Keep him off base.
It's an 0-2. DeShields with 24 steals, so there are multiple reasons why you want to keep him in the dugout. The opposite way, Springer angling over for out number 1. Now the Rangers have won 4 in a row. They've won 10 of their last 12 games. We mentioned earlier at the end of April, Texas was 7-14. Since then, the only team in baseball that has won more games than the Texas Rangers, the St. Louis Cardinals. The year ending for Jeff Bannister in very different ways than it began, to say the least.
Well, I can't emphasize enough how important it is for McHugh to get his team off to a good start. This is a very tight team. They need something good to happen to them. And they've been playing from behind too much against the Texas Rangers. The last 4 times they've played, it's been 4-0 after 1, 6-0 after 1, 3-0 after 3, and 3-0 after 2. Can't play against anybody uphill, especially against this Texas team being so hot.
They appeal down to third base, but he does not go. Well, something A.J. Hinch was telling us earlier this morning. It seems like by the end of the 3rd inning, all of a sudden, the Rangers are leading 3-0, 4-0. And when Texas scores early, this has been a theme for the Rangers. They've won 13 in a row when scoring in the first. 2 quick outs as Tom, we take a look at our keys to the game, brought to us by Ford.
Well, I want to honor the memory of the late Yogi Berra, and let's do it with, borrow from his dictionary, we'll put it that way. The Texas Rangers, it gets late early. Talked about how quickly they get out. They've won their last 13 games when they've scored first. And for Houston, no typographical errors. Play a clean game. And you're saying, what do typographical errors have to do with Yogi? He once had a game where he went 4 for 4. And the next day in the newspaper, the box score had him at 3 for 4. He was all upset. And somebody told him, calm down, Yogi. That was just a typographical error. He said it was not. That was a clean base hit up the middle.
I can believe he said that. Speaking of up the middle, Marisnick, a long way to go for it. No chance to get there. And Fielder, who enters today 5th in the league in hits, a 2-out single.
Just a strong man fighting off this cutter in on the hands. It's right where McHugh wanted it. Just parachutes into the grass in left center field. And this is where the Rangers were last night in the first inning, Aaron. 2 outs, nobody on base. And they couldn't hold down this combination of Beltre and Fielder.
Now, Beltre has become the RBI man this month for Texas. 25 RBIs in September. That's over a third of his season total. McHugh bringing some momentum into the start, and a very pivotal start today here from Houston, coming off one of his best starts of the year. That was against the A's. 1 run over 8 innings. And as Beltre always does, feeling his own swing.
Well, Beltre has been banged up the whole year, especially lately. Ligaments in the left thumb and a dislocated right index finger. You watch, he has almost a pad there to protect the left thumb, and in the right hand, his right index finger often will come off the bat just to protect it. Jeff Bannister telling us he has never been around a more tough-minded player than Adrian Beltre. High praise.
High praise, and if you've seen Beltre play over the years, not surprising praise either. He's been one of the best since 2010. 2 outs and a man at first. That's Fielder.
Yeah, there's the left. I think I might have said the right index finger. Left index finger. He actually jammed that on a slide recently into third base. Dislocated it, actually popped it back in himself, but that is still not right, as you can see, leaving it off the bat.
Two years ago, the Rangers were in Anaheim. Beltre played that night after having a root canal that morning. This is something.
I'd rather have a dislocated finger.
He is not held out of the lineup hardly ever.
This is what Rangers have been doing all month, just grinding out at bats. Beltre getting the count full, and we've seen McHugh now with each batter with 2 strikes going to the 4-seam fastball. That's the biggest difference for me, Aaron. You mentioned that when he first came up with Colorado and the Mets, he was more of a sinker ball pitcher, 2-seam fit pitcher. But now the 4-seamer complements his big breaking ball much better.
And he tries to bend that in. Instead, it puts 2 on with 2 out. And he got to Shields to fly out to right early in that bat. Shue a strikeout. Fielder a single, and now a walk to Beltre.
Yeah, for McHugh, 3-2 breaking ball. I get it, because normally you can wake him up from a nap and he'll throw that pitch for a strike. Just didn't have the feel for that one right there. And let me tell you, it doesn't get any easier now with Moreland coming to bat.
Mitch Moreland having a career season, a career high in hits and RBIs by a lot. Most doubles he's hit in his career.
If I'm Moreland, I really have to look now for that cutter in on the hands.
Starts him off the curve.
What McHugh likes to do with the lefties, it's similar to what Mariano Rivera did. Have that ball at the same height as the knob of the left-handed hitter's bat, and just have it continue to run in off the barrel.
Moreland trying to extend a 6-game hitting streak.
We talked about the 2, 3, 4 hitters. Actually, the guy who leads this team in the hardest hit ball percentage is at the plate right now. Mitch Moreland, 9th in the league.
I think that would surprise a lot of people when you just look at the lineup of the Rangers. You think about guys like Beltre and Fielder, you would think that they would be among the league leaders. But Moreland having, at least from a national perspective, a little bit of an under the radar season, but he's been such an important piece for Jeff Bannister and the Rangers this season. Tailing the opposite way, a lot of thump behind it. Marisnik can't get there, and the Rangers yet again will score early in the first inning. Fielder around, Beltre touches home, and Moreland gives the Rangers a 2-0 lead with 2 outs here in the first.
Two games in a row now. First inning, 2 outs, nobody on base, and it's rally time for the Rangers. Fell behind on the count. See that cutter just not in there enough on his hands. He's going to add to that hard hit ball percentage here. And watch the bounce it's going to take up against the wall. This allows Beltre to score from first base. Marisnik goes down. The ball goes up in the air. Buys him a few more steps. Not even a throw at the plate.
That brings in Odor. Now, we touched on it earlier. The Rangers have won 13 straight when scoring in the first inning. And over the course of this 8-game winning streak against the Astros, they've scored 22 runs in the first.
Just not quite sharp with that cutter yet. Nice job by Odor laying off that pitch. This inning already has turned into a grind for McHugh.
Now, McHugh has been so good at home, especially recently. That's really saying something for how much of a hitter's ballpark this is. We take a look at the last 5 meetings between these two teams. The Rangers have won all 5, and the numbers give you an indication as to why, Tom.
39 runs in those 5 games. That'll do it. The Rangers have done such a good job remaking their bullpen. You know, scoring those runs early makes them an even more difficult team to come back against.
Rangers bullpen has been the best in the majors this month. Fans, a little flare, gonna drop in. Springer charging, can't get there. Moreland around in from second, and it's suddenly 3-0 Rangers.
Almost a replay of Fielder's hit where the cutter gets in on the hands. Odor again, as Fielder did, does a nice job dropping it in. Springer in right field actually got fooled on the big swing and had a late jump. Here's the first one to Fielder. See, that cutter's just not quite in enough. And this is almost similar location, down a little bit. That big swing. But watch Springer. He actually goes back on this ball. If he had a shot, any shot at catching it, he lost it on the first reaction.
Now 4 straight Rangers hitters have reached with 2 outs. Andrews showing bunt. Tag applied, and they got him. Odor's out, and that will end the top of the first. Strong throw from Jason Castro. But damage done against the Astros by the Rangers. What else is new? The Rangers on top early, 3-0. day before the Astros can even step to the plate. 14 runs combined in their last 6 games, coming in the first inning against the Houston Astros. So Houston will be playing from behind early on here today, and they will lead off with Jose Altuve, simply put, one of the best hitters in baseball. Springer, and then the sensation, now 21 years old by just a few days, Carlos Correa, Lowry, Geddes, and Gonzalez, and then, of course, big Chris Carter, Castro doing the catching, and Jake Marisnik batting ninth in center field. And as we take a look at Derek Holland, the 28-year-old lefty who started very well, Tom, after coming off the disabled list. Lately, the fastball command has not been there.
Hasn't been there, but when he's on, the slider is the go-to pitch with 2 strikes. Pretty nice, though, to get on the mound before you throw a pitch with a 3-run lead. Deja vu all over again, as the great baseball philosopher Yogi said. Those
Really
first inning runs.
Now, there was some question as to whether or not Altuve would be in the lineup today. Watch out, right back to Holland. Odor's strong throw, and Holland had the tower bust.
Yeah, not only that, this ball hits his hand. He gets his pitching hand up there. That's just a reaction, obviously. You don't want to do that as a pitcher, but the ball hit to his arm side. Natural reaction. Protect yourself.
You can see how much that ball slowed down on the backside of the mound.
And you can see the look of concern on his face right there. And he still hasn't attempted to throw a warm-up pitch to see how it feels. Obviously not feeling good right now.
Well, that is the concerning thing. Normally when you see an injury of any kind to a pitcher where they think they might be able to go, it's very shortly thereafter you see him up on the mound.
This is right back at him. The hand goes up. Looks like it clips the fingers.
First warm-up throw under the glove of Wilson, the catcher.
You know, at this point, even if everything is okay, you wonder if he still has the usual feeling so soon after getting hit. That ball was scorched.
Now remember the storylines with Holland. He was developing into one of the best lefties in the American League when all of a sudden the injury bug bit, and it bit hard. Knee surgery, having to miss almost all of 2014, and then this year started the home opener against the Astros, fared 1 inning, and then missed 4 months because of a shoulder injury.
You know, when he pitches, he wears a heart rate monitor right on his chest. I'd love to know what the readout said when that ball was on the way back to him.
First pitch missing to Springer.
I asked him about that. I asked him if that was a preventive measure for any kind of medical issue. He said no. I always want to stay calm and relaxed, and that gives you factual feedback.
Is he able to check that during the game? How is he getting the information? That's a new one. Two balls and no strikes to Springer, batting second. Right field, Chu is very deep, having a range over, and he's able to snag it to make the catch. Long way to go for Shin-Soo Choo. And Springer is robbed by his counterpart in right.
He's shaking his hand because he squared this one up. His head is, Chu runs it down, got a good, nice break on the baseball. And you can see he was shaded over a little bit towards the gap in right center.
Nothing Springer can do but peel into the dugout.
Two balls squared up and 2 outs.
And we mentioned Correa just turning 21, still the youngest position player in the game. This high. This is mashed by a ton. It might break some glass. number 20 for Carlos Correa. Astros are on the board.
Well, it looked to me like the first time since he got hit by the line drive from Altuve that Holland went to the slider, the field pitch. That was a nothing slider. Really with no break on it, hung up at the top of the zone for Correa.
All the earlier runs in this game today coming with 2 outs.
Watch the location of that pitch. I mean, there's no movement on that ball at all. It stays up in the zone. You want it down anyway, but up with no break.
Now that is an historic swing for Correa. We mentioned home run number 20. That ties the Astros single season record. Home run record by a shortstop. You got to go back to Dickie Thon when he thumped 20.
Right there, you saw Holland try the curveball. No success with that spinner either.
Choose ball. He'll make the catch. Out number 3 to end the bottom of the first. The Astros trying to counter 3 runs of the first by the Rangers with one mighty swing by Carlos Correa, number 20 on the season. Data strong network. Rangers 3 runs of the first. Astros a run in the bottom of the first, and you can see the trainer for the Rangers taking a look at the hand of Derek Holland.
Yeah, that's something obviously you keep an eye on throughout the game. The adrenaline fighting off some of that inflammation and pain early on, but keep an eye on it, especially when it comes to the breaking balls of Derek Holland.
Well, John Daniels, the longtime general manager for the Texas Rangers, there's no surprise in town for this series. And Daniels saying yesterday on the field during batting practice that he thinks that this is the best baseball that Elvis Andrus is playing since 2012.
I would not dispute that. I'd also tell you he's a different hitter than he was even earlier in this season. He is absolutely hammering baseballs now. In the past, he just kind of push it the other way. He changes the approach. He's a guy early in the season would take a kind of a normal stride. Now he's got the big leg kick, coiling himself, getting ready much earlier in the sequence. By doing that, he creates more lateral momentum into the pitch, more power. I mean, he's turning on some balls like I haven't seen him do in years, and to me it's because he's getting himself in a more powerful position earlier in the at-bat.
This is cracked left center. Marisnik ranging. Hit it deep, but not deep enough, especially here. Andrews is out number one. This brings in Josh Hamilton, his first game back in the lineup since you got to go back to mid-August. 3 DL stints. Began the season in Anaheim. Traded, if you can call it that, over to the Rangers.
Dumped. Is traded a euphemism for dumped?
Probably a better phrase. Better
because
term.
That's the Angels made no bones about how they felt about Hamilton and the contract. Very difficult to get a player ready, game ready this late in the season when you can't send him to the minor leagues for at-bats. Change up from McCube. So what the Rangers did is they brought in a couple of non-roster pitchers from extended spring out in Arizona and played simulated games. Tracked the baseball, live speed. Still not the same. You can see McCube taking advantage of the rust on Hamilton with lots of off speed.
Hamilton having a minor procedure done on his knee. And the issue for Jeff Bannister was, when would Hamilton be able to run properly, run the bases, run in the outfield as well? And they feel like, well, that time is now. That's why he's back in the lineup. Full count.
Yeah, and even with all the rust, still a threat. See McHugh here now. He went to the 2-2 changeup. But nothing but breaking balls and changeups throughout this at bat.
It's some looking out number 2.
Now this is a cutter up, and Hamilton thought it was up above the zone. High strike. Get the call. You see Castro actually brought that ball down. It was telling me Castro thought it was up, but not Brian Knight. That's what counts.
That brings in Bobby Wilson, the catcher, batting 9th. Now the first pitch, saw pop up foul. Things have really changed over the course of this season behind the plate for Texas. Their 2 top catchers, Robinson Chirinos and then Carlos Correa, former Astro, both dinged up and out for a long time, and you wonder when they might be able to come back. And it's not looking good for either, at least in time postseason. So for now, it is Jimenez and Wilson. Jimenez has been fantastic if you look at the win-loss record behind home plate. 23-4, but Jimenez on the bench right now with Wilson getting the start.
I'm not even going to try to explain that, Aaron. 23-4? My goodness, got his first career triple last night.
Really nothing, Tom? You got nothing there?
I could make something up, but that is unexplainable in any kind of logical manner.
2 outs, bases clean.
Bobby Wilson still looking for his first career triple. Almost 600 plate appearances in the big leagues.
Well, they don't come easily for most catchers. You see the Shields on deck. Some waving. And after McHugh popped up 3 runs of the first, he mows to the bottom third of the order. 1-2-3 at the top of the second. everywhere October 9th. We'll see how that left hand holds up in this inning to the rest of the way for Holland after taking a stinging liner off of it. Turned out to make it out on Altuve as he faces Gaddis to begin the bottom of the second.
I was watching Derek warm up there between innings. Threw only one fastball. Everything else, changeups, curveball, sliders. Still trying to get feel for his off-speed pitches.
A broken bat, base hit for Gaddis. Now we are long overdue. It's time to check in with the third member of our broadcast team. Let's go down to the field and check in with Ken Rosenthal.
Guys, Astros manager A.J. Hinch is in a tricky spot as his team continues to slide in September. He wants to stay positive. He wants to stay consistent. He doesn't want to convey panic. But he has met with the team twice this month. And basically his message was this: you guys have accomplished an awful lot. You can accomplish a lot more. The danger for the Astros is that one bad month can make everyone forget the first five.
No, you're right, Ken. It was pretty interesting, Tom, to hear A.J. Hinch talking about that, because the team meetings are something that you kind of have to choose your spots on as a manager, it seems. But this is a month to do it.
Yeah, but here's my issue, Aaron. The manager does have to have those meetings, I get it. But really the most impactful message is peer-to-peer. And that's what the Astros are lacking. They're lacking a veteran presence in that clubhouse who can gather the team together and stress all the things the manager would say. It's just different when it's one of your own. And AJ admitted they don't have that guy yet. The core of this team, best players, are all very young. You know, he mentioned Luke Gregerson and Chad Qualls as very influential members of the bullpen who have strong voices. But it has to be an everyday player. Big difference between these two teams.
Easy play for DeShields. Now, meanwhile, you look in the other dugout, and the Rangers do have those guys.
Yeah, they really do. That guy right there, we talked about how tough-minded he is, always in the lineup, but always got a smile on his face as well. And fielder as well. I think what he's done offensively this year, almost changing his game a little bit to suit this team. More of a gap-to-gap all-fields hitter than a pure pull power hitter. Those messages resonate as well, but guys in their 30s, been through the wars, it does help to have them around.
1 out, 1 on. That's Gaddis with the single, and now it brings in Chris Carter, the first baseman. Seems like Correa could be a guy like that, but maybe not when he's a few days into age 21.
Yeah, no doubt in terms of on the field. I think this team already looks to him to do big things. But in terms of commanding that clubhouse and having that strong of a voice, and much too soon. Definitely has the characteristics, the capability to be that player very soon.
Carter ahead of Holland 2-0. Now, Carter has long been a boom or bust hitter. Over the last 3 years, the good news, he has as many homers as Miguel Cabrera. Now, granted, Cabrera has missed some time. The bad news, he has the second most strikeouts in baseball in that time frame. Only Chris Davis with more. And as a team, the Astros strike out more than anybody in the league. Only the Cubs, who are on pace to set an all-time record in strikeouts. Only Chicago strikes out more in the majors.
Good take right there, the inside fastball. One thing I'll look at in this game is Houston's ability to stay off these close pitches with runners on base. Something they have not been doing. Holland probably setting up the down and in slider right here. Just missed with the heater.
Carter is the tying run. And he'll walk.
He doubled up on it and missed that time as well. Good AB by Carter. I talked about this team being tight. We saw that last night. Giovanni Gallardo really exploited the anxiety of Houston's hitters, getting them to chase with runners on base. Good sign for Houston right there.
Non-stop action, heart-pounding excitement, historic performances. Don't miss the 2015 postseason beginning October 6th. Go to MLB.com/postseason for the full schedule. That brings in Castro, who suddenly represents the go-ahead run. Castro in a bit of just a minor slump, 0 for his last 11. Spent some time on the disabled list last month. Is able to stay home at second.
I'm not sure it would have been a double play because of the range, but that's an extremely confident second baseman right there. The spin move and the throw. And Andrews made a nice play to make sure that 1 out was in order, staying on the bag.
2 outs, runners on the corners for Marisnik, batting ninth. Now Derek Holland today is really trying to assuage some fears back in North Texas. His last 3 starts have not been good. 17 earned runs, 17 innings, and opponents hitting nearly 380. And that, of course, after his first 4 starts since coming off the disabled list were fantastic. An ERA just barely above 2. Seats.
Well, the issue with Derek has been the command of the fastball. Both the 2-seam and the 4-seam. Hitters hitting .333 against it this year. And I know a lot of attention was paid midway through the game. His last start, the velocity went down. He should be around 94. And he was down about 2 or 3 ticks midway through the last start. But I think that's because he's trying to find the command of that fastball.
Andrews over to second, and that'll be it. We're through 2 innings here in downtown Houston. When we go to the top of the 3rd, Prince Fielder coming up along with DeShields and Chu. Tom?
Well, as hot as anybody in the league in the month of September. Can't go wrong with these guys. Off to a good start today.
Now remember, it's easy to play DraftKings, and there are thousands of dollars in prizes every day. Enter promo code BALLGAME to play for free at DraftKings.com. Back to the top of the order, DeShields.
It was funny watching batting practice last night. You know how guys, they like to play a long drive competition during BP. As soon as DeShields hit one ball in the air, hitting coach Dave Magadan was on him immediately. They want this guy to keep the ball on the ground, and why not? When he hits it in the air, he bats .087. When he hits it on the ground, he's a .338 hitter.
And into the air. What's that average now?
Oh, that's 2 today. And that's something obviously they don't want to see. Even if he mishits the ball on the ground with his speed, he's got the possibility of being out first base.
One out for Chu. You can see Dave Magadan. Now, last year was a disappointment for Chu in his first year in Arlington. Ended up having minor elbow surgery to clean out some bone spurs at the end of the season. This year did not begin well, and as we bring in Ken Rosenthal, boy, Ken, things have changed, and it sounded like it was one good conversation that really helped out.
One good conversation with his wife, Aaron, and they talked to the All-Star break. She likened every person to a building and said that every building has a foundation.
The opposite way, back towards the wall, and this is an opposite field homer. I wonder what his wife has to say about that. It continues for Chu, a monster month. But Kenny, it sounds like what Shin-Soo Choo has learned is what we've all learned, that the wives are always right, correct?
She is always right, and what she said, basically continuing on, was that during his first 7 major league seasons, he had a great foundation. And then she looked at him and said, your life is good, much better than when you came over from Korea, much better than in the minor leagues. What are you so worried about? And just like that, he snapped his fingers to show that things changed almost overnight. He stopped trying to justify his contract, stopped trying to fix everything in one game, and got back to being the player he can be.
He's been exceptional this month.
I didn't think this ball was going out. Fastball tailing away, but with those Crawford boxes in left field, good swings produce good results. This guy was hitting .227 at the All-Star break. What a turnaround.
.315 to the corner in left field here in Houston. Castro in front of home. Out number 2. Now Chu is now homered in back-to-back ball games. He went to right field last night. First time he's gone back-to-back this year since the very end of June and the first day of July. Beltre climbs in with 2 outs. A walk and a run scored the last time up for the Rangers third baseman. And Beltre taking a pitch like only Adrian Beltre can.
Well, you see how low he keeps the brim of the batting helmet? I'm not sure he can even follow the curveball of McHugh because it goes so high in the air. I mean, he's like the Andy Pettitte of hitters. Remember how Pettitte used to keep that cap down low?
To a knee. A sky-scraping foul ball. Springer is able to get there. Out number 3 to end the top of the third, but another run in for Texas. Shin-Soo Choo, home run number 20 of the season. And that conversation with the wife Long overdue. Jose Altuve leads things off in the bottom of the third for the Astros. Jumps on the first pitch. He does this better than almost anybody. Doesn't have enough. It is gone. Astros get a run right back on number 13 from Altuve.
Well, as you said, he loves to jump on first pitches. I mean, this guy wakes up in the morning ready to hit. Holland knows that. Tried to start him with a curveball. Get me over a curveball. Get me out of here, curveball.
2 solo homers for the Astros. It was Correa in the first, and now Altuve. Only the Blue Jays homer more often in the American League than the Astros. Ball and 2 strikes to Springer.
Derek Holland wanted that. That's exactly where he loves to throw that 2-strike slider. Ball was in a little bit. Hits the target. That ball's in. Watch his reaction. Can't believe that.
You can see how far in Wilson's set up. Off the hands and off the glove of Beltre. First 2 men reaching. The homer, now the single.
Here's the curveball to Altuve. Goes down and gets it.
Altuve has been so tough against lefties this year. Second highest average against southpaws in the majors. 376 entering today, and those numbers bearing some proof for Altuve here in the third. Good speed for Springer, 15 steals and 19 tries. Well, for Correa, that home run back in the first, number 20 on the season. He's now tied the club record for most home runs by a shortstop in a single season. Got to go back to the 80s, the early 80s. Dickie Thon for the Astros. Take a look at that home run presented by Amazon StatCast, and this was a thing of beauty.
I mean, I couldn't even follow this thing. Exit velocity near 110. The launch angle is why you lose track of the ball. 40, almost 41 degrees. Typical home run would be, say, the 25 to 30 degree range. Oh, that's some serious elevation.
That was the arc of a Chris Davis home run. One home run shy of tying the great Lance Berkman. Most homers by a rookie in franchise history. Liner to the Crawford boxes, and it's home run number 2. He's 21 years old. Amazing. And another slider. Just absolutely hammered by Correa. That will require a talk from Mike Maddox, the pitching coach. Talked about how he likes to bury that. Watch the target, set up, down, and in. Watch the pitch. Hanger again. He will make you pay if you make a mistake like that. Suddenly, this game is all evened up. Now, one thing reaching. You want to talk about mistakes by a pitcher. The hitter will tell you, but the catcher will tell you as well how far the glove has to travel from target to where the ball is headed. And it's actually something a lot of teams have started to track in terms of the command of a pitcher. And that was a case where Bobby Wilson set up down and in, and the ball was about 2 feet away from the target. A new metric. You know how much. We're due for a new one. Distance traveled by the catcher's glove. Watch the target. Watch how much his glove is going to move. Back over, up to the middle of the plate. Two and two. Three Astros home runs in the first 3 innings. Correa with 2 of them. Altuve led off this inning with 1. Altuve got things started for the Astros in this third. Mike Maddox went out to the mound. That was also an opportunity to get the bullpen busy.
Again, go back to that line drive that hit Holland's hand in the first inning, and he has not been throwing with his best slider. Just does not have the feel of that pitch.
Chichi Gonzalez warming up right in the tracks of Elvis Andrus. Now, before this inning began, we had a chance to catch up briefly with Jeff Bannister, and the first question we asked him was about the earlier runs today for the Rangers and how that has been a theme.
Yes, it has. And it's just a testament to these guys and how prepared they are and their energy level, and they come out ready to go.
Jeff, I want to know what your heart level was like as that line drive went back at Derek Holland and how he's doing.
Well, he's doing all right. You know, it stung his hand a little bit, but yeah, anytime your starter takes a ball off his hand early in the game like that, and it can get you a little twisted early, but we've got enough guys out there, we feel like, that if something happens and we need to make a change, we can do that. But it's good to see him still competing.
Jeff, is this the best you've seen the trio of Chu, Fielder, and Beltre all season?
All year long, yes, consistently. It's been sporadic throughout the year. We get one of them hot and the other two, but to have all three of them going at this time, man, it sure is nice.
Jeff, thank you for your time.
You got it. Thank you.
And there's Jeff Bannister. After the Rangers scored 3 runs in the first, they added a run in the third, but the Astros have suddenly steamed back against Derek Holland. And you can see the last couple of times out, he has not gone deep into games, which is a stark contrast from his first 3 times out with the Rangers this year. Marwin Gonzalez standing in for the second time. Not many at-bats lately for Gonzalez. He's been hampered with a variety of injuries to his hand.
Well, the Astros hoping to get Carlos Gomez back in the lineup as soon as tomorrow. And they can run that outfield out there of Gomez, Springer, and Marisnik or Rasmus.
Looks to the left side.
That would be a great defensive outfield.
Now, Gomez has missed some pretty considerable time with a rib injury. Got off to a rough start after being acquired at the deadline from Milwaukee. Started to put things together a little bit, it seemed like, and then was struck by the injury bug.
He's available today defensively or a pinch run. Not sure if he's good to go in terms of swinging the bat today.
2 outs, a man at first for Chris Carter. Four hits against Holland in this inning. 2 over the first 2 frames.
Saw the pitch before that. The fastball for ball 1 was at 91. This is about the point in the last start where the velocity dipped a little bit. Again, he should be around 93, 94 with the fastball.
Now, you were talking about this earlier, Tom, but maybe a situation possibly where Holland is trying to sacrifice a little velocity for a little more command.
That is what Jeff Bannister told us could be the case, but the 2 fastballs he's missed here at 91 have both been upstairs. That's the issue. He's not been able to drive that downhill.
Odor moving over, and he makes the play. That'll do it for the Astros in the bottom of the third, but the Astros playing tag. Correa with his second homer in as many at-bats. Home run number 21 on the season. of the fourth, and it's a real pleasure to be joined by A.J. Hinch, the first-year manager of the Astros from inside the Houston dugout. All right, A.J., we're going to play a little fill-in-the-blank. We've seen Carlos Correa go 2 for 2, 3 RBIs, 2 homers. He is setting, breaking records, it seems like, with every swing. Carlos Correa is
exceptional. He's a great player, man. He really knows the moment. He's under control. He's an impressive kid, 21 years old. Wow.
Well, I remember going back a ways now to Chipper Jones, who, as a rookie, just dropped into the middle of the order for a pennant-winning team. But this kid's 21 now, AJ.
Yeah, not my hardest decision I've had this year, put him in the middle of the order. It happened fast. I wanted to protect him in the 6 hole for about 2 games, and then the middle of the order it was.
Well, we were talking with you earlier today about the importance of this game for your team's chances within the division. You entered today 4.5 games outside of Texas. Tell us the mood swings that have been going on amongst the coaching staff, of the players, and what has been a really remarkable game early on.
Yeah, no, the first inning we had 2 outs and 1 strike on Prince Fielder, and the next thing you know, they get 3 runs. They're an explosive team, but we were a resilient group, man. We're not going to give up. We've got 18 outs left to score more runs than they are. I like our team. We're going to fight to the end.
Well, take us inside the dugout, if you will, AJ. Once you get punched in the mouth with 3 runs, top of the first, what's going on in there? What's being said?
Well, you want to answer back. I think that, Altuve hits the ball, bullet up the middle. George gets a little bit unlucky, and then Correa hits the homer. So we had 3 balls hit hard, 1 run to show for it, but we did stand up for ourselves after a rough top of the first. So that's the way we roll around here. We're going to fight to the end, and I do like the resiliency in this group.
Here's Odor with 1 out.
Well, the same, I think, would apply to Colin McHugh after giving up the 3 spot. What have you seen from him since?
I think his stuff is as good as it's been in recent outings. His finish pitches are pretty good. I think that the 2-out rally that they put together, 4 base runners in a row, is always tough to come back from. Then he settled in nicely. Chu put a good swing on it, and we find ourselves with a new ball game with about 2/3 of the game left.
AJ, very kind of you to join us. Let alone to join us live. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we've had a chance to talk with 2 managers who, Tom, are very much in the mix for American League Manager of the Year at this point.
Oh, couldn't be more impressed by both of those guys, and give thanks to AJ for coming on with us live there in the middle of the inning. I could just imagine when he sat down for the interview for this job. I mean, I'm sure he just knocked over Jeff Luna, everybody in the Astros front office.
What a year it has been for Bannister, bench coach in Pittsburgh under Clint Hurdle. Two quick ground ball outs, and it brings in Andrews.
We talk a lot about managers changing the culture. That sounds like a buzzword, clubhouse, but in this case, I think there's some tangible things that Jeff Bannister has done, especially when it comes to pitching and defense, some of the philosophies of Pittsburgh that he's bringing over here to Texas. And yeah, definitely, we're looking at 2 of the real main candidates, American League Manager year in this game today. And how about John Gibbons in Toronto?
Well, he's a Texan, a San Antonio native. One of the more entertaining guys to talk to in the game. What a year it has been for the Blue Jays, especially in the second half.
A lot more defensive shifting Texas does this year, trying to throw more ground balls. That's the stock and trade of the Pirates.
That's something that General Manager John Daniels was very forthright about when they were going through the hiring process, settled on Bannister. That Daniels admitted publicly that that was someplace they really needed to grow in, which was the advanced data. He said that they've come a long way from where they were before Bannister came on. And you can understand why.
This team, people might not remember, I'm sure Texas does, worst record in the league last year. You talk about the worst team in the league to the postseason in 1 year. Been done only 3 times in divisional era. Cubs did it twice, and the Rays did it back in 08. And a big part of how the Rays did it, improving their defense.
67 and 95. That was the record of the Rangers last year. Dead last in the American League.
They had a few injuries last year, didn't they?
It was remarkable. Set the all-time record for most players used. Off the mound, up the middle, into center. 2-out base hit for Andrews. Today's telecast is sponsored by the award-rewarding Jeep Grand Cherokee and by Head & Shoulders. Shoulders were made for greatness, not dandruff. In fact, if you go back to last season for Texas, the record-breaking player, the 60th player used by the Rangers, was today's starting pitcher for Texas, Derek Holland, when he came off the disabled list late in the year.
60 players. I think 27 Yankees used like 23 or 24 all year.
Hamilton with 2 outs and 1 on.
You see McHugh staying soft on Josh. You know, the good thing about his first at bat, even though it ended in a punch out, you see here, how about this, the playoffs, turnaround possible. Cubs and Mets on the brink of clinching. It's happened every year in the wild card era except one in 20 years, where you get a losing team one year in the postseason the next year. What I was saying about Josh, you see it again right here. Even though he punched out, he saw a lot of pitches. That's what he needs to do. It's just a matter now of the reps, seeing pitch after pitch.
Ball and 2 strikes to Hamilton. Andrews is single up the middle to extend this top of the 4th. The opposite way, and it drops in for a base hit. Andrews able to go first to third. And with 2 outs, the Rangers threatening. They've got runners on the corners.
Fastball up, tried to sneak him by him with 2 strikes. And they shade Josh over to the left side in the outfield. Pole on the infield. That's a nice job dumping that one in. Good 2-strike approach.
Here is Bobby Wilson, the catcher. Wilson 5 for his last 34. And a first pitch curve from McHugh. And McHugh ahead 0-2 now. Now these 4 runs against Colin McHugh, a little surprising here at home. Since the end of June, a home ERA barely over 1.5.
This is a situation here where I wouldn't mind starting Josh Hamilton at first base. 2 outs, 2 strikes on the number 9 hitter. Andrews at third base. Create something where they have to make a play first and third.
Gets them waving, 3 pitches, gets them with the hook. That's how the at-bat started, and that's how it ends. Rangers leave him on the corners as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Glad you can join us from downtown Houston, Texas. Aaron Goldsmith, Tom Verducci. Ken Rosenthal down on the sideline for us. Castro and easy on number 1. That brings in Marisnick. Now, don't let Marisnick's size fool you. He is wildly athletic, as the fans here in Houston have been able to see this year and at the end of last year. He was a very successful high school football player. Even got some looks as a receiver at Oregon coming out of high school, but decided to stick with baseball. It's worked out for him. Gets the curveball in to make it 0-2.
Holland trying to go upstairs there. All of Marisnick's home runs have been down or middle mistakes by pitchers, but better low ball hitter than the ball up. Seeing more curveballs from Holland now. That's a pitch he normally would show first pitch. Generally, the 2-strike breaking ball is the slider, but again, home runs by Correa, both off of sliders.
See what he comes home with here, but first time called.
Bobby Wilson went through every pitch he had, and Derek didn't like any of them. Tried to go in with the slider and hit him there.
Just barely got a piece.
You know, the inside of the plate has been an issue for Derek Holland. You know, beginning early on, trying to get fastballs into Chris Carter in the second inning. He thinks these are strikes. The ball's down and in, and that one misses as well. So after the inning, Derek's going to go up to him and say, hey, I've got a Christmas card list I'm working on. I need your address. Third inning, he's going to go back in. Nope, that's a ball. Can't get that one. You say, well, where is it? Well, now I've got to come over the plate. See you later. Yeah, we talked about fastball command. Today, to me, it's been slider command, especially trying to get in on right-handers. Jeff Bannister wants to know if this ball actually did hit Jake Marisnick.
If it got him, it didn't get him by much. Now the other question is, was the count mistaken? Because that would have been ball 3. But did someone lose track of the count?
I didn't see much of a reaction by Marisnick on the ball hitting him. So one thing I generally look at is the physical reaction initially by the batter. Oh, there's no reaction by Marisnick. Maybe there is a little bit. Certainly didn't hurt. Not sure if he thought that was ball 4 or did the ball hit him.
Well, there's no doubt that if it did not hit him, that was ball 3. Would have been a 3-2 count. We will see the 5 pitches of this at bat.
Well, there's 1. There's 2. Now there's ball 1. There's ball 2. That's ball 3, but you saw the call that the ball hit him.
That's a good angle.
Mentioning that, calling the hit by pitch right there. One of the things they can do at the replay center in New York, they can blow up these shots that we see in much finer detail. And a lot of times that's what it takes. This is a very long look.
Long enough that Holland will have to stay loose. Well, if it hits him, it barely got a thread. We'll find out. And he's staying put. So a thread it was. Because, boy, if it hits his knee, that back knee, Marisnik, he's not that tough, is he?
I think you're right. It must have just grazed the uniform. Counts just the same.
So after all that, 1 out, 1 on. And here is Altuve, who homered his last time up. A new look. Altuve ahead. And Altuve entering today batting .341 in the second half. Three-time All-Star. And for more on Altuve, we check in with Ken.
Guys, two things on Altuve. One, in spring training, I interviewed him, and this was before Carlos Correa was part of the team, before Lance McCullers, and he told me then that his goal and the team's goal was to go to the playoffs, and he was quite serious. Also, Altuve right now 10 hits away from 200. That would be back-to-back seasons of 200 hits. Only one other player in Astros history has had 200 hits in a season, Hall of Famer Craig Biggio, and he did it only once.
That's good insight, Ken. Thank you. Nobody could have seen the impact that Carlos Correa would make, especially in the second half for the Astros. You knew that he was a good player. You knew that he was a top draft pick and a #1 overall prospect in the game. But did we think he'd be this good this soon?
Well, they're like brothers now, Correa and Altuve. That's the way they put it. Great professional relationship between the two of them. If Altuve is going to get to 200 hits, you know he's going to get there trying. He is so aggressive with the bat. Especially here, you'll see 3-2. Anything near the plate, he will be hacked. He plays with such energy. He's like mercury spilled. He's always moving.
He gets tied up. Just got a piece.
Confidence by the boatload. What that means is anything near the plate, he thinks he can not just hit it, but he can barrel it up. And oftentimes he does.
Now going back to what Ken was saying about 200 hits, Altuve had 45 hits in 28 games last month. Mostly caught between. Andrews holds it high. Now Holland's in the mix. And it will be Odor to finish it off.
I'm not sure whether Holland did this on his own or that was called from the bench, but that is a great call. You knew he's running 3-2. At the very least, you want to freeze him, check the lead. Instead, you wind up at the bonus by getting the out. That's a situation for Marisnik. You have to make sure the pitcher goes home, even if you're running. Contact hitter at the plate. It's not a straight steal situation. Jump really doesn't matter as much.
And Altuve aboard.
Not even Altuve could hit that one. Not even he was tempted by a 55-foot breaking ball.
That's saying something. An incentive 2 on and 1 out. It's the other way around. 2 down with Altuve at first base for Springer. Springer singled and scored back in the third. That extended his career best on base streak to 25 games. Second longest active in the league. Only Mookie Betts has a longer active on base streak. Joe Mauer just saw his career best 43 game streak end last night. That was a Twins record.
Lately, the Astros running game really hasn't been in as high gear as it has been through most of the season. It's because they run into a lot of left-handed starting pitchers.
You can add Holland to the mix. Altuve leading the league in steals. Holland, 28 years old, out of Newark, Ohio, just outside of Columbus. And yet do not talk to Holland about Buckeye football. That is a no-no.
Maybe that's what he was talking to Brian Knight about. Got any scores?
He is as big of a Michigan football fan as you can find. His disdain for the Buckeyes is, well, there's a very lengthy history to that, but he said that Ohio State actually had him come and try out for the baseball team, and they didn't want him, so that did not help.
Out of the Wallace State Community College in Alabama. A pretty good pitcher by the name of Craig Kimbrell went through Wallace State. One more time. Derek gave that one a stare down. Thought he had the inside corner. It's been elusive.
Boy, a lot of that today from Holland. Two outs, Altuve at first, keeping an eye there.
Yeah, he's just checking him at first base because Altuve hasn't looked runnerish over there at all. Very short lead in a non-aggressive position.
Full count. Gets them looking. Fastball that time from Holland. And we'll see what Springer thought it was.
Finally got the inside corner. Bullseye.
There it is, and that ends the fourth. Premium. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 400 supported devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Just visit MLB.tv today. DeShields goes after the first pitch. Who wants it? Altuve with the basket, and DeShields is 0 for 3.
That's a $3 fine, by the way. That's 3 times now he's made outs on fly balls. It just can't happen with the game he has. Give credit to McHugh. Talked about his ability to use the 4-seam fastball early in his career, more of a sinker ball guy.
The Shields has been such a big part of this Rangers offense. Held hitless, held off the base paths, and now gives way to Chu.
What an on-base machine he has been this month. 24 games he's been on base 59 times.
When you think about Chu, and as many around the game would say, he, during his real heyday, was the guy who was always coming to the plate with a 3-ball count. Now we are starting to see that same Shin-Soo Chu for the first time in a Rangers uniform. This is the first time since coming to Texas in a single month that he has more walks than strikeouts. But it's not just the walks, he's getting it done with the bat as well. You can see the run production lately. Chu's second in the league in batting average since the All-Star break. And third and on base.
Somehow got a piece of that curveball. He gets hit by a lot of pitches to add to that on-base percentage.
That's right.
12-6 break. He does not give any ground on anything on the inside part of the plate.
Watch out.
You better get out of the way of that one.
That's coming for you.
Yeah. Ron Washington, the former manager of the Rangers, used to say he's a turtle that goes into a shell when the ball gets close.
2-2. And he gets rung up. Fifth strikeout for McHugh.
It's a cutter. Backdoor upstairs. You don't see a lot of pitchers do, but Chu gives up on that ball, comes back and gets the corner.
2 outs, nobody on for Fielder. Dumped a single into center field back in the first, came around to score. This season has taken various forms for Fielder. At the beginning of the year, we saw him going to left field time and time again. At one point had the top batting average in the American League. Then we saw that power stroke come back out to play for Fielder. Now over 20 home runs on the season. He's been pitched away. He's been pitched inside. They put the shift on for him like they do here.
And again, like Hamilton, shift onto the infield, but the outfield actually shaded towards the left side. Fielder with 36 hits to the opposite field this year. That's a career high.
Opposite wave of foul. Now we know that the Astros are one of the more advanced teams in terms of the data. And last year, no pitcher was shifted behind more often than Dallas Keuchel or the man on the mound today, Colin McHugh. Right field. Springer has no chance to get to this. On a hop, and Fielder extends the top of the fifth, a 2-out base hit.
Well, he had no chance to catch it in the air, but that's a great save of 90 feet by cutting that ball off before it goes to the wall. 2 outs, nobody on base. You want to keep Fielder off of second base. Now watch look where he's playing. Again, the Astros play the gap, shaded over towards the left side to fielder. It's a cutter up and in that he hooks. And if that ball gets by Springer to the wall, that's another 90 feet, runner in scoring position.
So much speed in right field, and for the most part in the outfield almost every day for the Astros. Go ahead run at first for Houston, for Texas, pardon me. And it brings in Beltran. Club to center. Marisnik angling. Plants his feet to make the catch. Beltran out to center. As we make our way to the bottom of the fifth, it'll be Carlos Correa. Already a couple of home runs today will lead things off for the Astros. Today, first at bat, first inning. You can't even find the baseball. That was home run number 20, and then here's 21. Line shot right into the Crawford boxes. He's now tied Lance Berkman's club record for rookie homers at 21.
Both home runs off sliders left up. Holland misses, gets ahead rather with the fastball down.
And to center field, the Shields on a hop. It's a 3-hit day for Correa.
His ability to hit a pitch hard no matter where it is extraordinary. Check out these 2 home runs. On the left, the pitch is going to be up and away, and on the right, the ball almost will hit him. It's so far inside. Look at squaring up. The bottom half is exactly the same, but look at the difference on the right. The home run off Colby Lewis. Look how far the hands are pulled in. That is extraordinary to hit a ball so far in and keep it fair. That one's right down the middle. It is extraordinary. Most guys, when they hit the pitch so far in off the plate, and that was about 8 inches in, they have to hit the ball so far out in front, they'll either pull it foul or hit it with topspin or hook spin, and you cannot drive a pitch out of the park that way. It's very interesting. Last year he talked about how he was unable to do that, and he was not driving the ball on pitches in, so he started a drill where he would put the batting tee directly in front of his left side. Now think about a tee not being over the plate, but in front of the left foot. And his goal was to hit that ball into the gap in left field. It sounds physically impossible to do that, but it showed him how to keep his hands in, rotate the body, and still get the barrel far enough in front of him to drive the ball without top spin or with hook spin, and he's done it.
Well, this really has been the year of the rookie, especially in the National League, but the American League too. And where do you see him fitting in right now in terms of American League Rookie of the Year?
Well, listen, Francisco Lindor has given him his run for money, but again, I'll go back to hitting third for a team that's been in first place for 5 months. I think he's got the edge. Now, this is an incredible class because Osuna, at the age of 20, is closing games for a first place team. Correa, to me, is the leader of the clubhouse.
Well, let's check in down to the field with Ken Rosenthal. Ken, what are your thoughts on the American League Rookie of the Year race right now?
Aaron, I would agree with Tom, but the two shortstops from Puerto Rico, Carlos Correa and Francisco Lindor, are practically neck and neck. Lindor, since the All-Star break, leads the American League with a .356 batting average. And if you go by the defensive metrics, and I'm not saying they're necessarily reliable over half a season, but he does rate much higher than Carlos Correa. The difference, Tom, the way I see it, is what you said. He's hitting third, and not only that, the power. Before his 21st birthday, and remember, he was turning 21 this week, the only shortstop in history to hit more home runs before turning 21, Alex Rodriguez.
And to center field to Shields, angling back on it. And it is Aaron who it seems like everyone wants to make the immediate comparison to.
Well, I want to go back to Correa. You talk about, we showed the home runs that he hit the ball away and the ball in. These are the same swings, but look at his lower half. They're exactly the same. The balance that he has is just spectacular to hit two pitches so far apart with the same approach on the lower half. It's all done with the use of the hands and the rotation of his body. That's why I think he's going to be a consistent performer with power, even more so as he ages, but even for higher batting averages.
One out, Correa at first for Gaddis. Gaddis a single up the middle back in the second. I'll just look at him, Tom. He's a triples machine, isn't he? That's what they look like.
He's 10 triples on the season. And no stolen bases, by the way. The first guy to do that since Jerry Lumpy for the Kansas City Athletics.
Of course it was Jerry.
No, I'm not calling him Lumpy. That's Jerry Lumpy, 1962 Kansas City A's.
10th triple last night for Gaddis.
And by the way, he's never had a career stolen base. There's only two players in history with more triples without a stolen base than Evan Gaddis. One of them is Russ Nixon. Now, that makes sense that he never stole a base. You know why? He used to say, "I'm not a crook." I couldn't resist that one. Sorry about it.
No, it's good.
And the other was Tom Zachary. He was a pitcher.
Andrews down to second. Good quick turn. But Gaddis able to leg it out. So Correa cut down. Today's telecast is sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads. And a triple speed able to put Gaddis at first base at fielder's choice. 2 outs.
He actually runs well once he gets going.
You can just imagine the brick wall that he was about to break through. A couple of years with Atlanta, catcher for the Braves. He has American League player written all over him. He's actually played in the outfield some this year. Has not caught.
I think he just set a record for the shortest lead in baseball history.
Setting all kinds of records.
We saw the pickoff move against Marisnik from Derek Holland. A guy with no career stolen bases. I wouldn't worry about him if I were Mitch Moreland. Not going anywhere.
Statcast will tell us it's getting larger as we speak.
That's it. The normal lead is out there at 10 feet.
That's like when you see a route efficiency of 50% by an outfielder. And these are the StatCast things that we don't really anticipate them tracking when this year began.
I mean, 6 feet. I mean, he doesn't even have to step and dive. He can just fall and he's back on the bag.
1-2 to Gonzalez.
And that just tells me the Rangers are fully confident that Gonzalez is not going to hit the ball on the ground to the right side against Derek Holland, because they're conceding him a huge hole by holding on a runner with a 6-foot lead.
Back to Andrews, and an easy toss to Odor. That wraps up 5 innings from downtown Houston. As we make our way to the 6th, we're all tied up. Pepsi, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. And by DraftKings, free 1-week fantasy football at DraftKings.com. Well, happy honeymoon as they are making their way to Minute Maid Park, middle game of the series. Trying to get on to the playoffs for the Astros. Mitch Moreland begins the top of the 6th.
It's better than Niagara Falls. A little harder to get to, though.
Probably.
Especially recently for this Houston team. Looked like a lock for October baseball.
And for today, 4.5 games outside of the Rangers, top spot in the division. And suddenly, they're starting to hear the Angels creeping up behind them. The Angels have won 3 in a row. The Astros have lost 3 in a row. And Anaheim a half game behind the Astros for that second wild card spot entering today.
We were talking, Aaron, about how interesting it is that a team fighting for an American League playoff spot will finish the year playing National League baseball in Arizona.
It's bizarre. 3-game series. Downtown Phoenix. Altuve's had a somewhat quiet day defensively. Number 1. Well, let's take a look at Pepsi's most thrilling historical moments of the game. And on this date in Major League history, 24 years ago, the one and only Nolan Ryan threw his 5th career no-hitter while pitching for the Astros. He passed Sandy Koufax for the most all-time. Astros ended up beating the Dodgers 5-0 at the Astrodome that night. Ryan would go on to throw 2 more no-hitters with the Rangers, and of course finish with 7. Odor in play. Chases Springer almost to the warning track for out number 2. Couple of Hall of Famers right there. Nolan Ryan, Craig Biggio.
I almost feel with Nolan that any date on the baseball calendar, you could find that he did something historic.
It's very true. Very true. You can see the retire number for Craig Biggio, newly minted in Cooperstown. By the way, in that game, that no-hitter against the Dodgers, in left field for Los Angeles, Dusty Baker. Mike Scioscia was behind the plate. Ron Renicky was in right. Strike 2 to Andrews with 2 outs. And you can see his numbers, both the Astros and the Rangers. More strikeouts than anybody, and a lot in an Astros uniform. And ties as an executive for both teams now with Houston. Curveball fouled away. 2 outs, nobody out for Andrews. 1 for 2 today. Was stranded at third base back in the 4th.
He's doing a nice job grinding out this at bat because it looked like McHugh had a very quick inning in order.
Soft pop up. Correa's ball and a 1-2-3. Top of the 6th. 10 pitches for McHugh, his shortest inning so far this afternoon. was able to calm the waters a little bit his final 2 innings after giving up a 3 spot in the 3rd. A couple of home runs to Altuve and Correa. And he gives way to Chichi Gonzalez, who has spent some time in the rotation this year for Texas, now working out of the bullpen.
Well, that's the key. Starting pitcher stuff. Not used to seeing a guy come out of the bullpen, 4-pitch pitcher. But Gonzalez is.
On the first pitch, low line drive into the corner, foul.
And I like that move by Bannister. You know, Holland threw the ball well when he needed to. But getting through a lineup all the way through a 3rd time, very difficult. Especially with this guy at the plate.
Now, Carter was one of the best home run hitters last year in the majors. Only 20 this season. The average has not been good this year, but he's not necessarily out to hit for average as he smokes this to center. Does it have enough? It's over the fence, and he has given the Astros the lead.
That's the one thing you defend against when you face Chris Carter is the home run. Swing and miss guy, yeah, but his damage ratio to swings is excellent. And that's why I thought getting the right-hander in on Carter made more sense. It showed you what you thought of that strategy.
Castro climbs in, looks at ball 1. Easy ground ball. Odor handles it cleanly. Out number 1.
Well, for a big guy, he has one of the most simple swings. Watch the front foot, barely comes off the ground. Very controlled, quick, short swing for such a big guy. Very easy. I mean, talk about pitchers who have easy velocity. He has easy power. Watch the front foot here. Barely comes off the ground, gets down. Man, that's impressive.
Strike 1 to Marisnik.
I mean, there was no BP today because it was a noon game local time, but it's starting to look like BP with these balls flying out by the Astros.
4 home runs for Houston. That's their first 4 home run game against the Rangers since the summer of 2003. And we told you earlier, this is a very home run dependent team of the Astros. They've scored nearly half of their runs on the long ball this year. And nobody hits more home runs in their home ballpark than Houston does. They've hit even more here at Minute Maid Park than the Blue Jays have at Rogers Center. That's saying something. We'll take a look at that home run swing on StatCast, powered by Amazon Web Services.
About 430 feet of easy power.
1-out walk to Marisnik, the number 9 hitter. So Gonzalez out of the bullpen, the homer to Carter, then a ground ball out on the second pitch to Castro, and a walk to Marisnik. And that means a visit out to the mound by pitching coach Mike Maddox.
Just settle the young guy down. There's work in the bullpen behind him already. And now the Astros, we've seen the power. They start playing their running game that they want with the right-handed pitcher on the mound. Altuve handled the bat so well at the plate. Marisnik, who runs so well at first base.
Now Gonzalez, former first-round draft pick, 23rd overall in 2013. He's the 6th first-rounder from that draft class to make the majors. The most notable would probably be the number 2 pick overall, Chris Bryant. Astros had the number 1 overall pick that year. They went with Mark Appel. One out, 1 on for Altuve.
Obviously, the concern, as we talked about, a lot of options for A.J. Hinch here. Can hit and run. Gonzalez is a guy normally around the plate, not a big swing and miss guy.
Well, for Gonzalez, his career got off to a booming start this season. And his second career start, which was his second career appearance in the big leagues, through a complete game shutout at Kauffman Stadium against the Royals. That was in the first week of June. Straight away to Chu. Out number 2, and that keeps Marisnick at first. Two outs, a man at first for the former UConn Husky, former first-round draft pick. You don't normally think about University of Connecticut and first-round baseball talent, but that's not necessarily true in recent years.
No, and just a great all-around athlete. We've seen him on defense, showing off the athleticism. Rangers have done a good job pitching to him this year. He's just got 1 RBI against Texas this year. Their go-to spot have been fastballs up in the zone. Right there.
And it's quickly 0-2 on Springer.
This is where you check the runner on first base once again. 2 outs, 0-2 count.
And there you have it.
The odds just aren't good for run scoring in this situation. Nothing dictates a hitter's success more than the count. So 0-2, you're in jail as a hitter. Get thrown out, start next inning with a fresh count.
The plan originally, it seemed like, when Springer was called up last year, was to have him the long-term answer in center field, but he has found a home in right field for the Astros. Marisnick covering so much ground in center. He's the man at first after the walk. Soft chopper. Beltray on the grass. And that'll do it for the Astros at the bottom of the 6th. This game was tied when we came to the bottom of this inning, but one smooth swing from Chris Carter has given the Astros the lead. 2 home runs. His first 2 at-bats. Altuve and Carter each chipping in with solo homers. Mitch Moulton, a big 2-run double. And it was that swing by Carter which has given the Astros the lead as we begin the top of the 7th. Now the big storyline overall for this series, this weekend series 3-game set, the American League wild card and the American League West standings. Texas a 4.5 game cushion for first place. And you can see on that graphic how close 2 teams, Tom, less than 2 games away from the Astros. The Angels a half game back, and the Twins, who have lost 2 in a row, a game and a half back of the Astros.
Yeah, this time of year I look at the loss column. They're actually tied with the Angels in that loss column, 1 game up on the Twins.
Hamilton 1 for 2 today. Gets some waving there. Another curve. 1 out. Now some changes defensively. Marwin Gonzalez moves from his perch and left. He takes over for Carter at first base. Meanwhile, Colby Erasmus, the former Blue Jay, is now in left field. So Carter has done his work for the day with that one mighty swing.
That's Joey Gallo stepping into the plate, and he's going to cause a trip to the mound by the pitching coach, Brent Strom. So many hitters to go over with these expanded rosters. And you have a hitter like Gallo comes up to the plate, who obviously has tremendous power, and that'll stop the game. And let's make sure we're on the same page here about how we want to pitch to Joey Gallo in a 1-run game.
Next pitch will be number 100. And as we check in with Ken Rosenthal down by the field, Ken, this is something I just heard Tom say, learning the scouting report of different hitters. Rosters seem to get out of control for some teams around this time of year.
Well, it's getting more and more attention, the idea of expanding rosters almost to the full 40-man limit. Several teams are at nearly that level. In that game a few weeks back, maybe a week back, Rockies and Dodgers, 58 players used, 24 pitchers. It caught the attention of a lot of GMs, and a lot of folks for years, Tom, have wanted this rule change, and yet nothing yet.
Gallo, pinch hitting, drops it into right field. He's aboard.
Yeah, I think it has gotten completely out of hand. You know, calling players up, there used to be a barrier economically to carry extra players. Now everybody, doesn't matter what your payroll is padding out the roster. I mean, we have 23 relief pitchers available for this game between these two teams. That's ridiculous. And there's an easy solution, and that is you go into each series with a designated roster of 25. That means you can call up as many as you want, but they're not all active for the series, only 25. So if you want to take off 2 starting pitchers or 3 starting pitchers who just worked and obviously aren't available because of rest, sure, take them off, put on some other pitchers. But we can't be playing 39 against 38.
First pitch strike to the Shield. So you like the idea of setting it for the series as opposed for a game-by-game basis?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard some, and that's part of the problem here, is that a lot of general managers, what Kenny mentioned, agree that something needs to be done. The actual solution, we don't have an agreement on how to address it. I would go by series. I've heard some people say have a daily roster of 28. Listen, we play with 25 all year long. There's no reason to go to 26, 27, 28 in the most important month of the year. Keep it at 25. Set it on a series so that you can game plan, as teams do. I mean, you know, before the first game of a series, they sit down and they go over the advanced scouting reports for that series.
There goes Gallo. Hit and run is on. McHugh, a peak at second, but out number 2 at first. All right, now let's check in with Mike Hill for a game break. Mike? All right. Thank you, Mike. Good update there. And a good toss. That's going to be it for Dallas Keuchel. Pardon me, for Colin McHugh. As McHugh will walk off to an ovation as the Astros Lead at 5-4. Here, and he leaves Joey Gallo, who pinch hit at second base. Gives way to Tony Sipp, the lefty.
Really need to make this move. Chu, a .232 hitter against the left-hander, 1 for 6 in his career against Sipp.
Now these two were once a part of the same trade. The Chu, Trevor Bauer, Didi Gregorius deal. Indians, Diamondbacks, Reds. And that trade, Sipp went from Cleveland to Arizona. Sipp has been nearly untouchable since the All-Star break. Far more strikeouts than innings pitched. 1-1.
Yeah, that's the great neutralizer for Tony Sipp. That left-handed slider to the left-handed hitter.
Chu is the go-ahead run. He's homered in back-to-back ball games. Gallo off at second. Now this is no easy task for Sipp coming out of the bullpen to face the hottest hitter this month. The best of the majors, hitting .422 in September. Tying run in scoring position. Looks at a strike. Chu not pleased.
And I'm not sure that was by design. That was a backup slider, and it was not by design. And that's a pitch that typically freezes the hitter. You're just not expecting to see that breaking ball in. A happy accident for Tony Sipp.
2 outs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. They're on their feet here in Houston. And now Sip wants to talk things over.
Yeah, it's a good job. If there's any doubt whatsoever, and clearly there was between Castro and Sip, call timeout and get out there and be on the same page. Huge pitch right here.
Sip has been Mr. Strikeout lately with his punch-out chew with 2 strikes against him. Little low.
Aaron, to me, that's his best pitch. If you're going to throw it 2-2, you throw it 3-2 as well. That slider down and away.
And he lost him. A 2-out walk out of the bullpen.
AJ Hinch asking where that was. Fastball up. Threw him 3 fastballs in that sequence. All were above the top of the strike zone. Now Fielder will try to solve Sip, which he has not done. 0 for 7 lifetime.
Look at the difference of the bullpen. This month, the Rangers bullpen has been exceptional. The Astros bullpen not so much, and that has been really part of the bedrock for this Astros team all season long. What a turnaround the bullpen has been this year from last.
It's the best and the worst in all of baseball this month.
Fielder with 2 on and 2 out. Sip has owned this matchup.
Not be surprised to see Fielder here go the other way. See, a lot of times Correa will be shaded over towards second base, not quite all the way over.
Gatto the tying run to the go-ahead. 2 strikes.
Read the hitter's swing. That's what the catcher and the pitcher need to do, and that's telling me Fielder is not seeing that slider out of his hand.
Fielder could give the Rangers the lead with a 1 swing. Sip could send us one of the stretch. And that is it for Fielder. Into the other batter's box. Sip gets him to go fishing, and the Rangers strand 2. We stretch here in Houston. Astros by a run. And by Bank of America, who invites you to keep sharing your favorite baseball memories all season long. We have a new catcher as Chris Jimenez is behind home plate, taking over for Bobby Wilson. Carlos Correa leads off the bottom of the 7th for the Astros. What a day it has been for the 21-year-old.
Well, I know you mentioned Alex Rodriguez earlier. Alex already had played 2 months in the big leagues on the day that Carlos Correa was born.
Correa looking for his first ever 4-hit game of the majors, and he's ahead in the count.
That day, by the way, was the day that the Friends show. I know you're a big fan of Friends.
Oh, you read me well.
Its first episode aired that night. This guy's young, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Good examples. 3 balls and a strike. On base for the 4th time. He will go back. Pitch by pitch. Zip versus fielder.
Backup slider. Hitters just can't catch up with it. Now that swing tells me he's not seeing the slider out of the hand. No reason to show anything else. Go right back to it. Every manager begins a game knowing what matchups he wants to get to and what matchups he wants to avoid. This is a matchup A.J. Hint's entirely comfortable with. Sip now has gotten Fielder out all 8 at-bats they've matched up.
Keeping an eye on Correa. Lowry looking to reach base for the first time.
What respect for that man right there, Carlos Correa. You're essentially pitching around him to lead off an inning.
And Jimenez out for a word. Oh, they are so in love with Carlos Correa here in Houston, and for good reason. And it seems like each person you talk to with the Astros has a different Carlos Correa story, whether it's on the field or off the field. The latest, Tom, was a story of Correa. He met a local high school student who had been diagnosed with cancer, and he found out that this young man's birthday was relatively close to Correa's birthday, and so completely unannounced, with no escort service of posses or other friends or representatives from the Astros or whoever it might be, he went out, he bought a birthday cake, showed up at the school at lunchtime and surprised this young Astros fan with a birthday cake on his birthday.
This is a great story. They actually met before a game on September the 5th. And the young man told Correa his birthday, which happened to be the day before Carlos's birthday on the 21st. And Carlos said, well, I'm going to remember your birthday. And of course, I don't think he's going to remember. He's a busy guy, Carlos Correa. And 2 weeks later, on the gentleman's birthday, he shows up at Houston Christian High School, as you said, chocolate birthday cake in hand at lunch break. How about that? So impressive in every aspect.
Correa steams past second. He gets the stop sign at third from Gary Pettis.
This is a possible double play ball that's not hit, I think, as hard as Moreland thought it was hit. Actually gets in on the handle, and there's some spin on this ball. And that's a tricky second hop that's going to eat up Moreland. Comes up, doesn't even get a glove on.
Now Moreland usually so reliable at first base. In fact, earlier this year, Prince Fielder told his manager, Jeff Bannister, that the Rangers were better off having Moreland at first than Fielder. But this has not been a good fielding team, the Rangers, this year. Only the 4th error this year for Moreland. Now the MLB postseason begins October 6th with the AL wild card on ESPN, and October 7th with the National League wild card on TBS. Then October 8th, it's game 1 of both the AL Division Series, only on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. And now Gonzalez in a bind.
Against a very aggressive hitter, Evan Gattis, the top 10 in the league, chasing pitches out of the zone. Especially loves fastballs up. And he's trying to get something to elevate right here. Make Gonzalez get the ball up.
Astros took the lead in the 6th on the Carter homer. Now they're trying to tack on. DeShields comes in. Correa ready at 3rd. He tags. Here's the throw. It's up the line, and it's a 2-run lead now for the Astros.
Good baseball by Gattis. Get something to elevate, get it in the air. Pitch up, and poor baseball by the Rangers. Watch this throw here. It's so high, it's going to miss Moreland by so much that Lowry's able to move up easily to second base. That's a free 90 feet when there was no chance of getting Correa at the plate.
One out and still a man in scoring position. Here is Marwin Gonzalez.
Hit the cutoff man there, and Gonzalez is 1 pitch away from getting off the field. Now, no longer the double play in order.
Bunt popped. Jimenez taking over for Wilson behind home. Marwin Gonzalez, remembered by all back in Dallas-Fort Worth, the man who broke up the perfect game from Yu Darvish.
I'm not in love with that decision to bunt there with the runner already in scoring position. Rasmus is on deck, but the Rangers have a left-handed pitcher warmed up for him ready. Go ahead and try to knock the run in, not get him over.
And again, this time outside. Lefty Sam Freeman warming up for Texas. Not much time in the minors for Gonzalez. Less than 60 appearances before coming to the big leagues this year. Bunt. Back to Gonzalez. And it's dug out by Moreland.
Man, what is it about pitchers? They can cross a T and dot an I from 60 feet off a mound, but get them off a mound and throw the ball to first base. Hold your breath time. We saw that last night with Scott Kazmir. And watch the alligator arm on his throw to first base by Gonzalez. Yikes. Again, not in love with the bunt because now you'll get Freeman on Rasmus.
Man at third, 2 outs. That's it for Chichi Gonzalez. We'll step aside here in Houston. can see plenty tuning in. Any Rangers fans back in Dallas-Fort Worth, you can tag your post with hashtag #SwingData, and T-Mobile will keep the conversation going data strong all season long. Sam Freeman, native of Houston, Texas, 28 years old, up on the mound now for the Rangers.
He does have reverse splits, actually. Freeman is better against right-handers because of his split.
Rasmus on the first pitch by the pole and gone. His first swing today.
And batting practice continues here at Minute Maid Park. My goodness.
5th home run for the Astros. Second game this year for the Astros, going deep 5 times.
Yeah, Freeman, not your traditional left-on-left specialty guy. You see the splits. I said reverse splits. That means he's tougher on righties than lefties. And again, the split more effective from the left-handed pitcher to a right-hander. Doesn't have that wipeout slider that we saw from Tony Sipp to neutralize the left-handers. So it all worked out for Gonzalez after that, what I thought was an ill-advised bunt. And by the way, they credited him with a sacrifice bunt on that, which I don't get. You're not going to bunt the guy to third base with 1 out already to give yourself up. Besides that, it's going to blow up the mission control analytics system of the Houston Astros to score a sacrifice bunt from a position player.
That's what really counts. Now, Chichi Gonzalez came out of the bullpen to work the 6th inning, and the first batter he faced was Chris Carter. Carter took him deep. And then it was Freeman here, taken deep by Colby Rasmus, batting in Carter's spot. Did not take a lot of time. Rasmus looked like he had a pretty good idea where that ball was going. 8 for Houston through 7 innings. bottom to Shields. 0 for 4 at the top of the order. Astros pitchers. Chu the solo homer. Fielder a couple of singles. As you see what the Rangers have done offensively so far today, the Astros taking a now healthy lead into the top of this 8th inning, and they will go to the bullpen. They bring on Chad Qualls facing Beltran.
Well, the key to this game is the tie-breaking home run by Chris Carter, because that allows Hinch to go to his, they call them winning pieces in the bullpen. When you have a lead, you can get to the better arms. On the other side, Jeff Bannister was unable to get there. He tried to have Gonzalez bridge the gap before he got to his winning pieces. And it was Carter who defeated that strategy with the home run.
Home run number 21 this year for Chris Carter. That made it 5-4 Astros, and they've tacked on since then. Qualls, originally a second-round draft pick by the Astros back in 2000, has moved around since then and is now back with the team that originally drafted him.
Well, he's one of the few veteran relief pitchers who can pitch a lot of games year after year after year. And that's one of the things that attracted the Astros to Chad Qualls. And specifically, one of the things they scout is the deceleration of a pitcher's arm. And they love the way that the arm of Chad Qualls, after release, keeps going behind his body. Why is that important? Well, deceleration, that's the brakes of a car, of a pitching arm. Does the arm stop quickly?
A little flick right to Altuve. Now for more on the Astros bullpen and the trade deadline, let's check in with Kenny.
Well, guys, we documented their bullpen struggles, but at the same time, they tried to improve it in July. Tried to trade for Aroldis Chapman, tried to trade for Craig Kimbrell. And at one point, GM Jeff Luhnow told me they thought in the final 6 to 12 hours before the deadline, they would get one of those two. What happened was it didn't happen. And the problem was, the reason they were so worried was that they didn't have a lot of velocity in the bullpen. Josh Fields really the only guy that throws hard.
That's good to know, as we've got a pitching change here. Chad Qualls done. Oliver Perez coming in. Oliver Perez, the veteran lefty, the new pitcher up on the mound. He worked last night in game 1. And then he's called on here to face the left-handed bat of Mitch Moreland.
Well, you'll see some funky deliveries. That was actually as conventional as he gets. He'll give you the old Louis Tiant spin move to left-handers. See, that's conventional. And there are times he's going to show his name and number to the hitter before that ball comes around.
Just look how he positions his glove. Even before he puts the ball in there. Here we go.
It's almost as if he's checking the alignment of a center fielder. Are you in the right spot? Yeah, you're good. Okay, now good to go. Where's Jake Marisnick? All right, you're in the right spot. Now he can throw. Whoop! And the hardest part is the weight for the left-handed hitter.
The 1-2. And it works out. Brought on for a reason. He retires Moreland. That's out number 2.
Yeah, the difficulty is really the timing. His relief point is going to be the same. So a hitter is going to look for the area where the ball is going to come out of the hand. The other stuff is all extraneous, except there's different timing between when he starts the windup and when the ball comes out of the hand.
2 outs for Odor.
Each one's different. That one had maybe a little bit more of a leg kick involved. You just never know what you're going to get.
Does he know? That's the question.
I would say no. It looks like improvisational.
The pause. 1-1.
Yeah, it's especially effective when you're talking about hitters, and Odor is one, who have the high leg kick, where they're relying so much on timing.
Odor, a very different player since being optioned down to Round Rock than being recalled. Well, nonstop action, heart-pounding excitement, historic performances. Don't miss the 2015 postseason beginning October 6th. Go to MLB.com/postseason for the full schedule. Odor truly had the 3rd lowest average in baseball when he was optioned down to AAA. He's hitting over 300 since.
And the Rangers would tell you, Aaron, his biggest problem when they sent him down was plate discipline. He had none. I mean, he's such a confident player. It works against him offensively where he thinks he can hit anything. And that's what they told him. Go down there, establish the strike zone. And he has been a different hitter since he came back.
Down on strikes. Spins him around. Oliver Perez, a couple of strikeouts. And the Rangers retired in order. entirely new Lincoln MKX. And by Goodyear, tires chosen by experts for superior performance. Goodyear, more driven. Share your favorite baseball memories using hashtag MLB Memory Bank. On to the bottom of the 8th here from Minute Maid Park. And a new pitcher, it is rookie Luke Jackson to work things for the Rangers.
Real hard thrower. He's got a release point you don't see much anymore. Straight over the top. Creates a really good downward angle with that heater. Upper 90s.
He'll face Marisnik, the number 9 hitting center fielder. Jumps on the first pitch, scorches it to left field, and a ball cap high catch there by Hamilton. Hasn't had a whole lot of activity in left field. Pretty loud out, number 1. Altuve, a homer and a walk, a solo homer. That was back in the 3rd. We heard Ken talking earlier today about Altuve and its quest for another 200-hit season. And really, the number that sums it up perfectly for Altuve, if you look at what he's done since the start of last year, he has twice as many games with multiple hits than he has games without a hit.
That's just staggering.
Think about that. It's more common for him to have 2 hits in a game to go 0 for.
Well, that's pretty uncommon right there. He just took 2 pitches in a row.
That's true.
You know, he does hit the top of the lineup, and he's a very aggressive swinger, and his hand-eye coordination is exceptional. That adds up to a lot of hits.
Gloved, left field, hammered, and his 2nd home run today. Six Astros homers this afternoon against the Rangers.
Yeah, Luke Jackson thought he was going to sneak one of his heaters by that guy after the breaking pitches, but no chance.
First career multi-homer game for Altuve.
A little guy, he uses his lower half so well on his swing. He's got real power. I mean, you would stand next to him and think, all right, he's a singles hitter, I get it. But he generates tremendous bat speed.
Belts right to a knee. 2 outs. Well, this was the play last night that had everybody here in Houston so concerned. Clothesline, Correa on Altuve.
How about those futures, those presents colliding right there? And he just got staggered, literally punched in the nose. Like maybe the elbow arm of Correa caught him, had him dizzy, not feeling well, left the game.
And you
looks real good today.
You're right. You mentioned the little brother, big brother relationship between Altuve and Correa, and you know that Carlos Correa did not feel good about that at all.
Look at his use of the legs there. Look how he gets down into his legs. People talk about hitters using their hands and their arms in the swing, getting extended. Any hitter will tell you it's really the legs that get in the swing. I mean, they're much bigger muscles than in your upper body. The little guy uses the lower half. Let's see if he goes around here. Did that barrel cross the plate? Yeah, it did.
Correctly ruled strike. Already 2 home runs today for Correa. The Astros have not had a hitter with the 3 home run game since April of '07. Carlos Lee went deep 3 times. Correa a chance here in the 8th. Boy, how this game turned.
You know, Aaron, it's like people will knock the Astros sometimes for hitting too many home runs. You know, they do strike out a lot. It's part of the price you pay for all the power. But this is why the home run. I don't care. There's no such thing as too many home runs. You change the game with 1 swing, or today 6 of them.
Correa trying to bolt down to first. It'll be a long throw from Jimenez, but there isn't one. He has been on base every time, one way or another.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Jimenez gets in front of it, but it just kind of bounces all the way up the body. Tough one. I know he did try to backhand that ball. That's a tough one. Spiked breaking ball.
Lowry's sitting on 9 homers. I mentioned all the home runs for the Astros. They have 11 players in double-digit home run totals this year. That's the most in the majors and the most in franchise history, and it's historically one of the best marks of all time. If Lowry were to homer, that would set a new major league record for most batters on a single team in double-digit home runs. You got to go back to the '04 Tigers. They had 11 players as well. Carlos Pena led the way that year with 27.
Well, it's by design. This is the team that they wanted. You mentioned Evan Gattis being a perfect American League player. He's a perfect Astro as well.
He really is. Fits the mold. The Shields picking up a little speed. Well, it won't be number 10, at least not right now. Lowry out to center, and that will close the doors to the bottom of the 8th. Altuve, a home run back in the 3rd, and then going deep here in the 8th, his first multi-homer game of his all-star career. on ESPN, and on October 7th with the National League wild card on TBS. Then on October 8th, it's game one of both the American League Division Series, only on FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Luke Gregerson, the new pitcher up on the hill for the Astros. Houston went out and spent some money on Gregerson in the offseason. And it has worked out. This bullpen has gone from one of the worst to one of the best.
Boy, it must be September. Put your closer out there with a 5-run lead in the 9th inning.
Taking no chances. Now the week ahead for these two teams, for the AL contenders, Astros will finish on the road tomorrow, the final home game for Houston. This has been such a friendly place for the Astros to play. They finish at a National League ballpark. What will the Angels do? Angels right now knocking on the wild card door, half game outside of the second wild card spot. Now number 1 here in the 9th. Now welcome inside the booth there on Goldsmith, Tom Verducci. And Tom, the way this game began, you felt that this was going to end like every other game recently. The Rangers had won 8 in a row against the Astros, 3 runs in the first, but 6 home runs by Houston today.
Yeah, an amazing comeback, really. Not only because they're down 3 runs after a half inning of play, because the way they played lately, losing 3 in a row at home, the way the Rangers had won 8 consecutive games against this Astros team. Give this Houston team a lot of credit. No, it's a young team. But they answered a gut check today in that first inning.
There's no doubt about that. Gregerson gets ahead 0-1.
You know, looking at that schedule, Aaron, we talked about playing your last 3 games in a National League ballpark. Saw a shot of A.J. Hinch there. What does he do with Evan Gattis?
That is a huge question when you think about the production that Gattis has given the Astros this year. Leads the club in homers and RBIs, second in hits, and yet the Astros have fared very well in interleague play this year.
They have. You know, it's a big outfield there in Arizona. Do you put Gattis in the left field, or are you better off, and I think this is what he should do, keep him on the bench and deploy him for a spot with runners on base? In other words, if you have a lead, he's only a part-time player anyway, a 5 or 6 inning player. Get a couple of at-bats, take him off the field.
1 out away. Follow the September pennant races with MLB.com. At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, StatCast, radio broadcasts, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat app now. We'll have a pinch hitter, Will Venable. Last hope today for the Rangers, who have been crushed by 6 Astros homers. Strike 1. One and 1. Three runs in the first for the Rangers. They have scored 1 run since. That was the homer by Chu.
Not too often you see middle infielders, Correa and Altuve, with multi-home run games. First time it's happened in Astros history. Last time by 2 middle infielders by a team that no longer exists, the Montreal Expos. Jose Vidro and Orlando Cabrera.
One pitch away from a win today for the Astros. appeal, and a full count.
Well, A.J. Hinch said we need to win the series to have the division still in order, but more than that, a win today, he said, we can exhale.
Jeff Bannister in the other dugout. The 3-2. And it splits the shift. Now, Tom, how about we take a look at the Bank of America plays of the game? You were mentioning the home runs by the middle infield. Correa punched out a window with this one. Altuve going deep as well. Both of these two, the second baseman and the shortstop for the Astros, homering twice.
Well, we talked about how they consider themselves at heart brothers. The Bash Brothers today.
They really are. The second coming. Just fouled a third. This is DeShields back to the top. Into second, 2 strikes on DeShields. It's tough to call a game a must-win unless it really is an elimination game, but for the Astros to hang in with the chance to win the West today really felt like a must-win.
It did, and not just for mathematical reasons, for the psyche of this team.
Lowry gets up. The stretch, not in time. The Rangers will not go quietly.
And that's why the Rangers want this guy hitting a ground ball. It just took Lowry a little bit too long to get himself up off the ground into throwing position. And you just don't have that time with DeShields running. Watch him get up. Nothing wrong. Just not fast enough to catch a guy like that, especially when he gets out of the box quickly on a breaking ball away from him. Boy, that looks just like a sprinter, doesn't it? Breaking the tape.
Now, DeShields had a hustle double in last night's game in the center field. Statcast had it measured at almost 21 miles an hour. Wow. When he steamed into second base. 2 outs, 2 out for Chu. And DeShields is able to coast into second. Chu, a home run and a walk. Rangers are an out away from having their 8-game winning streak against the Astros come to an end. This series has been so one-sided recently and really all season. The Astros have not won since Monday. They have had a brutal September at the worst possible time. And entered today absolutely starving for a win to set up a chance for a series win tomorrow. Balls and 2 strikes to Chu with 2 in scoring position.
Now the Rangers just keep on grinding. Nice job by Chu staying off that 2-2 breaking ball. If nothing else, Texas making Gregerson work. You know A.J. Hinch wants to see this over as quickly as possible so it doesn't affect tomorrow's availability.
No question. A little dribbler. Correa picks, can't hold on, and the game continues as Venable scores. That's a base hit for Chu with 2 outs. So after Gregerson sat down the first 2, the next 3 have reached.
Yeah, nothing Correa could have done here, even if he feels and holds on cleanly. And no play at first base. Brent Strom going to go out there and give Gregerson a little bit of breather. You bring your closer into a 5-run game, and here he is about to throw his 25th pitch. Not the way you design it.
Not one bit. Tonight, the postseason races are coming down to the wire as the Brewers take on the Cardinals, who have baseball's best record in a game you can only see on FS1. Coverage starts tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Now, the Rangers today have done their damage with 2 outs. They are 2 for 20 with less than 2 outs. They are 9 for 16 with 2 outs in the inning. And that has continued here in the ninth.
And one step further, the 3rd strike has been elusive for Gregerson in these 2-out at bats.
Chu into second base, more indifference. You're right, Tom. He has run a 2-strike count to each of the first 5 batters this inning. Now he got Andrews to fly to right. He got Hamilton striking out swinging. Fielder 5 for 7. A couple of extra base hits against Gregerson. Time to the line. Fair ball. The shield's in, and Chu scores easily. We might just have ourselves a game here in the ninth. The Rangers have climbed within 2.
Well, this is the price you pay when you have a closer who is a ground ball pitcher. That ball was hit hard, but all 4 hits in this inning have been ground balls. 1 that leaked through a shift and 2 that never left the infield. And that one gets down the right field line.
And a big swing from Beltre, his 3rd hit. Fielder making. Here is Beltre. Strasburger, meanwhile, pinch running for Fielder at first. And there is Ryan Strasburger. Now this is really beginning to unravel.
It's not often the manager will have to go out and take his closer out of the game. And Luke Gregerson tried to stop his manager from crossing the foul line and gives up the baseball without making any eye contact with A.J. Hinch.
Now this has turned out to be a disaster for Gregerson, as Hinch is trying to right the ship. They need 1 more out to seal a win. We're back in a moment.
breaking ball with nothing on it. Just kind of slipped out of his hands. And right there, Hinch decides to take him out. Watch Gregerson. He's going to try to stop Hinch because once he crosses that line, Gregerson has to come out of the game. You're out at that point. And look at the reaction from Gregerson. He will not make eye contact with his manager. Shows him his back while giving up the baseball. Wow. He's trying to say, I got this. This is my game.
Well, at a certain point, it was no longer his decision. Will Harris, a new pitcher. Another pinch runner, Drew Stubbs, will run it first for Beltran. Well, Harris, this is the situation he has been so good in this year. Runners in scoring position, 2 outs. Opposing hitters 2 for 29. He is about as tough as they come.
A little bit different with 2 outs in the 9th inning in a game you have to win.
The shift on. Moreland suddenly the go-ahead run. Well, Tom, you get the sense that even if this one ends in the Astros' favor, this will not have the same feeling that we thought that it would for the Astros, based on this inning alone.
And the exhale we talked about that they were looking for won't be quite as relaxing.
1-1. Keep in mind, Gregerson retired the first 2 men. He got Andrews to fly to right. He got Hamilton striking out. Then 5 straight base runners. And now it's Harrison trying to clean it up. A Houston native. Altuve, and that will end it. Some sweaty palms here inside Minute Maid Park. The Astros hold on, and they give themselves a chance in the West. Still, they give themselves a chance for a series win tomorrow.
It certainly turned out to be much more dramatic than they wanted. That's all that counts. Remain alive in the American League West race, and certainly in the wild card.
What a ball game this one turned out to be from downtown Houston. So glad you could join us on Fox Saturday Baseball. Plenty of high fives around here inside Minute Maid Park. For Tom Bertucci and Ken Rosenthal, I'm Aaron Goldsmith. So long from downtown Houston. Rob Stone in our college football studios. Stand by.